yeah, I'm open to all kinds of stuff, but I know there's one property that I worked on with Ian Boothby, Exorcisters at Image, that got optioned for TV and movie, but didn't go anywhere yet because getting option doesn't mean much. It just means that they're going to try and make a movie or a TV series, but it doesn't mean they're going to succeed, you know? So that's still option, I think. I'm not sure. Can't keep track sometimes. But yeah, I can't think of anything. I mean, all the stuff that I've worked on would be nice to see as anything, of course, if they do it right, you know.
There's always that factor as far as yeah, they could very much do it very poorly. I mean, I think that's been something we've seen over a lot of different comic book material, up to and including some things that people in the masses probably aren't even aware that they were based on a comic book. You know, like I would think. Mhm.
You can change something. Like I'm not against if someone would take a property of mine and change it when they're adapting it. I mean, if the change is good, it makes sense. I have no problems with it personally. But sometimes you'll see changes that are done that are just not. You should have kept the original idea, or you shouldn't have gone there. But I'm not a fairly flexible person.
Well,
I mean, I've collaborated with a lot of people, so I'm good with collaboration. Like I know that you cannot, be too stubborn on a certain idea because other people will bring their ideas in, and then you end up, having. So sometimes it's compromise, but you have to see which vision, which idea you think is going to work best, and everybody agrees, and then you go with that. So I wouldn't be bothered by someone changing a little bit of what I've done, but again, so long as it's for the better,
Well, this is going to sound horrible on my part, but you said your favorite show or movie was The Walking Dead, and I've read The Walking Dead as well as I've watched.
Based
Yeah,
off the you said
yeah. I
sure.
mean, based off a comic book. Yeah, y'all can go look at way more as far as I do not get into everything that's answered on the questionnaire because this interview would be 3 hours long. And so would everyone else's. And I don't think anyone has time for all of that. I know I don't have time to edit all that. I just randomly pick and go through what it goes through, but whatever. I'm digressing. My point with The Walking Dead is that baby should have died at the prison. Okay, that baby, and I'm sorry yeah.
I've enjoyed the show. Some people left. Well, I think what happened with me is that I didn't watch the show right away. A lot of people stopped watching the show when Negan showed up, and
Oh no.
A lot of people were like, "Oh my god, no more!" But for me, I actually started watching the series, and that had already passed. So I binged it all. Like I binged almost like 7 or 8 years in one go. And to me, it was like, oh, I wasn't bothered by Negan at all. I actually liked Negan. So I think I had a different perspective on it because I watched it all in one go. And but then after that, I kept up with it, and I thought all the seasons were pretty good. I mean, there's some episodes that are kind of slow that they could have done, but you have to remember that I'm drawing as I'm watching this. So for me, something that's kind of slow is actually not a bad thing, because I'm drawing, so I'm only like catching bits and looking on the side or wherever the TV is and trying to keep up with it. But I've watched the series minimum twice, but there's some stuff I've watched 3 times, and I don't do that with a lot of series. So it is one of my favorites, and even though it's not perfect, it's still very well done. And I've been watching the spin-offs, like the new one, Dead City, which I think is off to a good start. Fear the Walking Dead, that was a disaster. Fear is the only one that I feel that like they were good for the first 3 seasons, especially the 3rd season, but after that it went downhill. Oh my god, it to the point where it was like the worst thing you could see on TV. I don't know why it was so bad. It's almost done. I think there's only 6 episodes to go, and it's done. And I'll be glad that it's done. It should have ended. That should have ended way way long I mean, at least The Walking Dead was still watchable, you know. Fear was just like, wow. I don't know what happened with that show. It was so bad.
But
Anyway,
wait, you
I mean,
say
there were some highlights, even in the bad stuff. There are some highlights, but not not enough to save it. So anyway, I'm hopeful to see what happens with the new Daryl Dixon show where he's going to Paris, and then there's Rick and Michonne that's coming next year. So yeah, I'm up for it. I still enjoy it.
all right. I thought Rick was supposed to get 3 movies.
No, they changed it to a series.
All right, but that's if y'all want to go figure that out, go Google it. We are not getting that deep into all of that as far as The Walking Dead, but I do have to know. Have you read the comic?
Just a little bit of it, not
Okay.
all of it.
See that, and I guess I'm kind of a stickler for the moment where Rick's baby at one point in the prison they're running away, and and a chick shoots this other chick in the back, and that lady, she's carrying the baby, and so this girl shoots the baby without realizing. She just thought she was shooting another female, and like flips out and ends up turning around and shooting the governor. That they obviously didn't do that in the show because the kid's still alive, all that. There's part of me that let me make a Flash reference. Felt like that should have been a fixed point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because it developed a lot of characters in a lot of different ways, as far as from the governor showing that, oh my God, dude, you're really just a real piece of shit, to
Yeah.
explaining why Rick kind of went hoo, 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 hoo,
Yeah.
hoo, as much as he did. When he still has both of his kids, I don't feel like the dude is as justified as going off the hinges as he did.
Yeah. Well, probably also, you know, maybe they didn't want to follow the book completely because then you already know what's going to happen.
Well,
So it's probably
they
good that they
did.
switch a few things, you know.
Yeah, they switched plenty. Like, they
Yeah.
switched plenty, and that is, and out of everything they switched, that's the only thing to me that I'm like, look. And I try not to be that way when I'm consuming any, because I've been a comic fan since I could read, you know, and now you've got all the MCU, DC's creating all this stuff. There's so many things coming out comic book wise. So when I go to see something, I try to be like, okay, well, this is a different medium, and you know, when I'm watching Secret Invasion, I shouldn't expect Secret Invasion, even though Secret Invasion was done poorly. That has nothing to do. It just wasn't that good of a show. The best part of it was Samuel L. Jackson. You can hear me and Dave talking about the Secret Invasion on this monthly comics July edition if y'all want to check it out. Um, and I understand, like, and they couldn't afford to do the comic book, you know, because the comic book includes every major hero. It would have had to have been an Avengers film and something they built up to and been done completely differently. So I
Mhm.
get that. Like I said, I just sometimes I feel like, you know, there are certain things in the comic they work really, really well in the comic, and they can totally transfer into mediums. They should be fixed points. That's just one of them. Like, look, Barry Allen, his mom died. All right, he went back, tried to save her. That shit fucked up. That's just how that should always be, regardless of it. You should never make a Flash comic where he goes back, he saves his mom, and everything's okay. No, you know.
Mhm.
Just little things like that kind of drive me bloody well nutty. That's all, and it's that Walking Dead. And it really stuck with me, Lacey. Oh my God, it's so hard, so bad. It drove me freaking nuts. I cannot lie. But to that end, I want to know, as an artist, is there anything out there, like a series going on right now, or just perhaps a character somewhere that you would like a chance to draw professionally?
Um, I've always wanted to do a Vampirella
Ooh.
story, but it would have to be something written for me in mind, you know. So I've always that would have been fun to do. I think I'd have fun with that. Other than that, I mean, there's some stuff that I've worked on a little bit that I wouldn't mind working on more. Like I had done a little Josie and the Pussycat story for the digest for Archie, and I wouldn't mind drawing more Josie and the Pussycat because I like music and I used to be a musician, so um, you know, stuff like that I enjoyed. I mean, like I was working on Gem and Hologram, that was fun. So anything that has music in it, I find interesting. For superheroes, I really don't know who I would do that I could pull off. To be honest, nothing comes to mind. I mean, I have my own little superhero verse where I do sort of characters that look a little bit like, let's say, Batgirl or whatnot, but they're not. But my take on it is totally different. So, and I know that it wouldn't be something that probably DC would do or whatnot. So it's hard for me to say this or that. I'm not that attached to any of those properties more than that. I always, first of all, I always enjoy working more on my stuff than working on other people's work. I find anytime I'm working on something that I don't own or at least co-own, it becomes laborious after a while. Because it's not totally your vision, so you're not even part of it is your vision. So unless they asked you to put a new spin on something, then you can maybe then you feel it belongs to you a little bit more. But like I like Power Girl, and I really like the run that Amanda Connor did on Power Girl with Jimmy. I mean, so something like that, maybe I would have fun if I could do something sort of like that. A really humorous, fun book. I think that was back in like 2011. It's been a while. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but the Power Girl with Amanda Connor. That was a good run.
I know.
She only did like.
I'm aware of it, but you said you were a big DC. I've always been. I was initially big Marvel, and then I went to the other guys, and by other guys, initially it was Image, Top Cow, and now it's a plethora of things as far as what I read, and then like there's Marvel, and I don't like I might pick up a DC comic every once in a great while, but it's
Yeah, I haven't
yeah.
read a lot of DC in a long, long time, so I really can't tell. But like I said, I'm talking about a series. I'm talking about Amanda Connor's Power Girl from like 12 years ago, easy now. So I really couldn't say which I could work on there anyway. So I don't they don't come to me for that type of work. I've done a little bit. I did some Gwenpool covers for Marvel, so maybe I could maybe pull off a Gwenpool book, depending on how it was written. Maybe I could pull that off, but I don't see Marvel or DC running to me to do some work. So it's probably because either they're not thinking of me or I'm just not what they're looking for, which is fine by me because I mean, I people should do the vision that they have. It's like if let's say they usually when I end up working on something is because that person thought of me and thought she can probably pull this off, and that's usually I'm much happier with this because then I feel wanted, feel like needed, and I'll do the work. Why work on something where you're not gonna look good? It's like there's I don't
And
know.
I did see some of the work you did on Gwenpool. It looks phenomenal. I gotta bring her up again. The co-creator of Gwenpool, Heather Antos. I love some of the work she's currently doing because like she is one of the characters or one of the people that co-created the Gwenpool character. And what I've seen drawn by you as Gwenpool looks phenomenal. Now to go back to you said for Imprella, and with seeing your art style, I would be very interested to see you take on Lady Death.
I've done a poster for Lady Death for one of his Kickstarters. He asked me to do a
Often, yeah.
poster. I could pull, but Lady Death, it would really have to be a story. I mean, the reason I think Vampirella is because if you look at the old Vampirella, when it started, the style was very different. It was more like something I could pull off. But nowadays, like they go with really dark art and the dark colors and everything is so dark and you can barely make out what's going on. And me, I like clarity. I like stuff that you can see well. And that's another thing with the Vampirella. The old stuff is all black and white, and I absolutely adore that stuff. I mean, my own work is black and white. I don't color. I color very little of it, and I just feel that the line work is more beautiful. You see it, it's clear, and there's just something about it. Like those old Vampirella comics in black and white were, to me, were amazing. And there's also like a sort of like a cartoon feel to that. But they've moved away from that, and now they do more of the dark, realistic stuff, and so dark that you can't make out what's going on. And like I said, I could not pull off that stuff. But if they were thinking of doing something more like what they used to do back in the '70s, well, then maybe I'd like to take a stab at that, you know. But it doesn't look like it's ever going to happen because they've been doing this dark, can't make out what's going on stuff for like, I don't know, 25, 30 years now. So I mean, it's never going to happen. So
Yeah, I don't know if they would ever go back to those characters in black and white.
no, it wouldn't need to be black and white, but it could be treated more the way that the look wise, it would be more a little bit cleaner, less dark, less just more stylized, you know, less realistic looking, just more stylized. It's there is a little bit of realistic stuff, but it's I don't know. But again, this is my own preference. Obviously, I'm older. I was exposed to this, you know, a long time ago. Maybe newer readers would not enjoy what I would enjoy. So I understand that as well, and so that's why I don't, I, I don't worry my brain about this stuff. You know, it's like, and someone will say, "What would you like to do?" Well, I'd like to do that if it would show it up. It would show up with the right story where I think I can pull it off. Yeah, I would do it. It would be fun, but I don't expect it to happen. So, and that's for a lot of the things. Yeah, like you know, so that's why it's best for me to focus. Like I've done my own character that's sort of like a Vampirella, which is called Infernica Sin. So that's a character, which is it's a comic book that in my webcomic series Pixitrix Comics that they're working on. It's called Infernica Sin, and it's just like a succubus. So it's sort of like a Vampirella kind of my take on it. So it's more fun, more how I see things could be, you know. And you know, I've been able. I sell them through the Kickstarter, so there are people that enjoy that style, which is not what you know people are doing with Vampirella. So they have their vision, I have my own vision. So I apply it to my own little creations, and I try to make money with that, you know. And then this way, I'm satisfied. I get to draw something that's sort of Vampirella-ish, you know. But it's my own take on it. I own the character. I can do whatever I want with it, and I don't have to worry about anything, you know. So.
And I think that's the thing about Kickstarter, though. It is allowed, it's allowed people to be able to create things that not everyone's gonna like. It's more like, hey, this is created for these people, which I think is a very positive thing. Streaming has kind of had the same effect, but in a terrible manner, because in the aspect of streaming, you know, the people that create it aren't really getting paid properly. The aspect of Kickstarter, the people that create it are the ones that are actually gonna make the funds off of it based on the fact that it's creator owned. But if you've got a Netflix deal, hey, you've got a Netflix deal, and there's a reason there's a huge ass strike going on right now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's entirely a different story. But I do like that about Kickstarter is it's allowed so many things to be created within the comic book community that otherwise wouldn't rightly exist. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff on Kickstarter that it's been very successful, but I don't think there's companies out there that would have been willing to risk on a lot of it. Even though I can name examples where things have gotten kickstarted, and then companies have picked it up after the fact. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's a great tool for creators, and I think it's like, look, for all y'all out there, go check out Kickstarter. I guarantee there's a bunch of great projects up on there right now. There's a bunch of products from people that we've had over here on the Questionnaire that are currently running. Are you currently running a Kickstarter?
No, I'll be running one probably late September, early October. I try to do one a year. So, I was trying to finish the Money Shot arc that I'm working on before doing the Kickstarter. So,
Fair
I'm
enough.
almost done. So as soon as that's done, and then I'm planning my Kickstarter. So.
If you shoot me that link, I'll try and attach it. I'll try and remember to attach it to this interview after the fact. But if this interview's not up before your Kickstarter's running,
Yeah, sure.
something really, really, really fell behind on my end of things, and I really hope it don't, because I'm finally getting caught up over here. You know what I mean? But I do want to say for everybody out there, make sure you check out all the links in the descriptions. You can check out everything that we've discussed here. Everything, man. There's all kinds of links. I love links. I hope y'all love links. God knows I put up so many links on all these damn quests. If nobody clicks any of them, I'm going to be personally upset because it takes me a minute to find all the crap, y'all. Okay? Click some links. Please, all y'all out there watching, click the damn link. It don't take much. I had to grab something real quick. Yeah? But I do want to let you know, if y'all have enjoyed this quest, right? What I want you to do is I want you to send a vampire, right? With hold the fuck on, where was it? Right? Where was it? I know. See, this is why I needed to have this shit printed, because I gotten to the point where I highlight this shit, and I apologize, Gisele, that I did not have this shit printed. It kind of annoys the hell out of me. I won't even lie. Right? Yeah! You send you a vampire to Gisele with a big old Smurf collection.
Oh
Right?
my god.
Right? And some Reese's cups. Because, fuck it. Why not? Right? Now, if for some reason you did not enjoy this quest and just you don't like Gisele, I don't know why. She's been a pleasure. Don't be a dick, man. Right? But if you didn't, as always, I'll still give you options. Right? And she wasn't real specific. Right? So we're just going to give you a couple options. You could like send a Medusa or just like some giant ass snake, or I think a Hydra would probably do terribly. Right? And I want you to make sure, regardless of what you send, that it's just covered in rotten meat of all varieties. Gisele will have a terrible time. I hope very much for all y'all out there watching that is not your goal. I hope you want to send her a vampire. I really feel fucked up about sending somebody a vampire to their door, man, with Smurfs and Reese's cups. That's really odd. It's really odd. But Gisele, it's been a pleasure, right? For real. Like I said, check out the links in the description. Besides that, do me a favor, right? Like, subscribe. I dropped my thumb, but y'all should click it, right? I really did. That was loud as hell. Yeah, so like I said, give it that thumbs up. Live, laugh, love, get your comic on, and have a good night, y'all.
Ready?
This is Heather Anto.
Hey, what's up? This is Alex Cormack.
Hey, this is Rich Dueck.
I'm Sebastian Piris.
Hey, this is Wells Thompson.
Oy vey. Yeah, I am Dalton. I'm Dalton Shannon.
If you read comics, I've probably worked on them.
I'm the illustrator on Breath of Shadows, Road of Bones, Sea of Sorrows, Crimson Cage, Sink, Weed Magic, a zillion other books, Kill and Hope, and the upcoming The Devil That Wears Your Face and Drive Like Hell.
You can check me out at rdueck.com.
Working on Exorcist Never Die with Steve Orlando and Carlos Mangual from Mad Cave.
Writer of Mechaton, available now.
I'm a co-writer of Mechaton as well. It's on the QUESTionnaire with new episodes every week. It's the best.
Make sure you check out the QUESTionnaire.
Do it!
I hope you check out the QUESTionnaire. There are new episodes every week.
Whenever it drops.
At all of your favorite podcast solutions. Check it out. It's the best.
Make sure you watch the QUESTionnaire, new episodes every week.
This will disgrace any other of your favorite movies.
I'll do it. I'll do it too. I'm coming after X-Men.